What is up, everybody? We are back today on 2023, so we want to welcome you to the new year. As you guys can see, we got a new project here. We have the Bronco, we have the Jeep here. We're down here in Florida enjoying this beautiful weather in January now, and we're hoping to bring you guys a lot more content now that we're down here and taking up some more trails and hitting up new things. But today we are going to talk a little bit about this new project that we just picked up, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel. So as you guys know, we are really mostly motivated to trying to work with people on off-roading rigs. We love all types of vehicles. That's the biggest and hardest thing for me on making this channel, is because I love doing all sorts of different things. So you guys have seen us build out the Bronco. We've got it lifted, we got the wheels, we got it pretty much ready to rock and roll. We've been trailing it, we've been tearing it up, and you know something, she's been doing extremely well. Trailhawk's going to be next. I haven't really pulled the trigger on that yet because I just don't know what to do with it yet. So we have some ideas on what we're going to be doing. We do know that it's already lifted. That came that way when we bought it. Somebody had already put that on there. I do know we need bigger tires, but I'm just not quite sure which ones we're going to put on there yet. I know I want to put a rack on it and kind of deck it out for the wife a little bit, but this is actually going to be our recovery vehicle for when we go on the trails. We have the front that's going to be getting all put together. We're going to be putting a winch behind the bumper, decking the whole front out, getting it all ready. That is in future videos to come, but today we are talking about the Mustang. We just picked up this SN95 Mustang, and it is a sweet little car. You know, from Illinois, we're from the Rust Belt, and when I saw this car on Facebook, I couldn't pass it up. It was super hard for me not to go buy it because it had no rust. It has none whatsoever. Runs really good. We drove it back here, so we're going to show you guys some footage here in a little bit of the engine, how healthy it sounds, some walk-arounds of the motor, and some other stuff. So make sure you guys stay tuned. If you guys haven't, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you guys are liking with the content you guys are seeing with this, make sure you guys like it, share it. Make sure you guys hit up the link down in the description. Beautiful day out, mics are out, it's awesome. We have some new merch. We did kind of redesign our logo just a little bit, just because we are going to be working with like the Mustang and some other hot rods out there. So make sure you guys support us that way too. Let's get started. So if you guys are not familiar with the SN95 Mustang, you guys definitely have to check it out. 95, that's what this one is. This is the last year of the Pushrod 302. Last true 5.0 that you can get, that Mustang made before they brought out the Coyote motor. My bad. So this is, I think this is really cool. This is one of those vehicles you just don't really think about when you see a Mustang. You know, when they came out with it, a lot of people had a lot of mixed feelings about it, just because they went from the Fox body, which was more boxier. They went with the more advanced curves. They were trying to keep up with what Chevy was doing with the Z28 and the Trans Am. So this was their solution to it. Now the bummer part to it is 94, 95, when they brought these cars out and started the SN95 platform, they didn't have much horsepower. 215 horsepower. This one here's got some work done to it. We're not quite sure what it is, but we are going to get a dynoed and we're going to get some Tesla brand to it, and then we're going to see how much horsepower we can push to the stock block before she breaks. She's not perfect. Now the reason for this is we want to push the limits of this and see how far a Pushrod 302 will actually go before we start tearing it up. I know some people have some videos out there, they're not really exclusively to the Mustang. There's going to be some truck videos and different things. This is pretty much going to be anything 5.0. I want to see how much horsepower we can push to it. We got a blower that we're going to be sticking on it. We got a few other things that we're going to be hooking up to it, and of course she's already been modified with an X pipe, and she has flow mount. So as you guys can see with the car, it does have some high miles. That's why we're not too worried about the motor. You know, these cars are becoming more valuable, so if you do snag one up, try to find like a good Cobra. Cobras are down at the bottom pricing, and they will come up. The SN95 is definitely a platform that you want to go towards. But we are going to start her up and we're going to kind of show you around, and once we get that done, we're going to do some maintenance to it. We're going to do some basic stuff, and it does have a power steering lead, so let's go take a look at the hood. Now, the one thing I can tell you guys about the 5.0 Mustangs, this one here has a aftermarket intake. It's not actually aftermarket, sorry. It's a different intake that came factory. Typically these had a more square type, and we'll throw kind of a photo of what it looks like up there. This one here is actually from a Cobra. So throttle body's been changed, mass airflow has been modified. So we're definitely sure that this has some work done to it, and we're pretty sure it's got an E303 cam into it. We're just not quite sure 100%, so we're going to dig into it, and that's the whole purpose of this. Is we want to dive into it, see what the stock motor can take, see what we can do to it, and go from there. As you can see here, it is super wet from all the power steering fluid blowing everywhere, so that's one of the things we are going to fix. The old owner did change out the hose, but he indicated that it is still leaking, so we are going to really clean this motor up really good. Because it's no fun working with the dirty motor and dealing with all the crust and everything on there. So and then we're going to start diving into the injectors. I know they are 19-pound injectors. These are the stock injectors that would come with the typical 302. Now they have the 24-pound injectors, which would come with the Cobra motor, which was for this intake. So I think maybe we need to increase the injectors. It might be running a little lean, but we do have a 1/4 horse programmer that we are going to be installing into this, and that'll be in the next video that we show and talk about. But for today, let's work on trying to fix the hanging idle, which we're going to take off the IAC right up here, put a plate on there, and from there we're going to do another video and we're going to start talking about some other stuff. So let's get to it. Okay, so what we got, guys, so check out what we got going on. So we picked up a oil pressure test kit. This here will actually hook onto the oil sending unit down there, so we can test the actual pressure. Now, the thing with electronics is sometimes they go bad, and yes, we did pick this up. We had some points with O'Reilly, so we got this for like $5. It was like super cheap. It'll be a good preventative maintenance, but what happens is these plastic pieces on the front here, they will actually start leaking oil and destroy themselves, and they'll cause misreads. I'm not quite sure if that's actually what's going on. I know the oils could thin out, and we are going to test all those theories. Once we test the actual oil pressure, let it run for a while, see what the oil pressure comes back as after it warms all the way up. We're going to see where we go from there, and we're probably going to still replace the oil pressure sending unit, do an oil change to it, change the spark plugs, do some basic preventative maintenance to kind of help it out, and then we're just going to drive it and see what we can do to it over the next few months, add to it, and see how much power she'll actually take. And as you guys can see, there is oil everywhere. Man, my biggest pet peeve is just fix it, clean it so that it doesn't look like this. But plus side is, right up there, the little silver tap, it looks like it's already been replaced once. Like maybe they've already had this issue and they've been working towards that. It looks like they maybe changed that at one point. You can see it. Right there, right back there, oil pressure sending unit right there. We're gonna get a socket, we're gonna get this all cleaned up, try to clean it up as best we can, get a rag, wipe down some of this stuff. We got a power steering leak, that's where most of this stuff's coming from, but we just got to figure out where it's at so we can try to clean some of this up. But like I told you guys, as you can see, there's like no rust up underneath this. Pretty clean car, been most of its life down here in southern Florida, Alabama area, so hasn't been any accidents. It'll be a good car to convert, even though it's high mileage. It'll never be worth what some of the Cobras and stuff are, but I think it was a good steal. So let's see if we can try to get this cleaned up, and let's see if we can get that sensor out so that we can test some of this oil pressure, which might not fit in there. Definitely gotta take those off. Okay guys, so we got it all hooked up. So I wanted to kind of show you the kit. Basically we got the kit here. This is all hooked up underneath here. This is the gauge, tube goes down. Got different fittings, so you're gonna wanna match it up to the fitting that you have on your block. Screw it in, put the adapter on, hook it all up, and away you go. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see what kind of pressure we start getting off of this. Okay, give it a little gas. Typically when you shut this down, you're going to want to let it sit for a while, because we are running out of daylight. We are going to get this removed, get the new sensor put in, and get this video and episode all buttoned up a little bit, or for today at least, and then we're going to go get some oil. And next thing is we're going to drop the oil filter, drop the oil, swap it out for the actual correct weight, and see if that makes a difference with the oil pressure. So it went all the way up to normal, and it's kind of bouncing around like it wants to go all the way down. But that's also in conjunction with, I think, the cam maybe. You know, one thing I was reading too is they said that the oil pump can go out on these. That's like dangerously low according to that. I have to say that did not fix it. So next thing is going to be, let's change the oil.